As a matter of fact, everything does a fantastic job. They do their job. The oceans, they do their jobs. The rivers, they do their jobs. The wind that flows, it does its job. There's not a single fault to be found. The mountains, they do a perfect job. The rain does a fantastic job. The suns and the stars and the moons, they do a lovely job. And they operate like clockwork. They all do a fantastic job. Whatever their purpose was in coming into being, they serve their purpose. Like clockwork. Without fail, the rains will wet the grounds. Without fail, the winds will blow, bringing with it coolness and a soothing effect on everyone it touches. Without fail, the weather, spring, summer, autumn, winter, all of these seasons, they come and go without fail. When was the last time we didn't have winter? No, it comes every year. Yeah, perhaps in countries like this, it's not so obvious, but there's still winter. They come and go. The globe turns on its axis without fail. The sun rises without fail. The moon rises without fail. Orion's in the sky. How often? Every night, without fail. It happens to be then that everything does its job, serves its purpose without fail, except for one particular being. How often do the seagulls fly south? Every year. How often does a woodpecker build its nest? Every year. When it's time to lay its eggs, it will do that every year. It's just this human race. We humans appear to be the only kind of species which forget our purpose. Even inanimate things like the skies and the stars and the moons and the earth, right? They all do their purpose, they all serve their purpose, they do their job, and what a fantastic job they do. But we human beings, because we have been blessed, or some might argue, cursed, with choice, the choice to make decisions, with intellect, we can choose what to do next, what to do now, what to do tomorrow. We can choose. Because we have been blessed, or as I say, some argue, cursed, we don't seem to be fulfilling our purpose. A puppy that comes into this world from its mother's womb never gives up. It'll try to stand on its 4 legs, 4 little legs, without fail. It'll keep trying until it does so. Have you ever heard of a puppy who gave up, trying to stand on its 4 legs? Ever heard of a calf who gave up? Nah, can't be bothered. I've tried it a couple of times, it doesn't work. Nah, give up. I'm not going to run. I'm never going to stand on my 4 legs. I'm never going to stand on my limbs, so I give up. Ever heard of a calf who did that? No, it doesn't work like that. These animals, they serve their purpose. Whatever purpose they have come into this world to do, they will do it without fail. See, it seems quite ironical that when gifted with choice, it doesn't seem like a gift. Because we misuse that gift. We forget that we have come to this world with a purpose. We forget our purpose. And Half the time, that's actually because we get to associate others who have lost their purpose in life, who have forgotten their purpose in life. A donkey, no matter how many times or how long you keep a donkey in between dogs, it's never going to learn to bark. It's always going to bray, because that's what a donkey does. And a dog, no matter how often and for how long you keep a dog among lions, it's never going to roar. It's only going to bark. But we humans, we are very different. Keep a human being among other humans for long enough, he or she is going to turn out to be the average of the people that he or she is surrounded by. Yes or no? Absolutely. If you associate the wrong kind of crowd for long enough, and how long is long enough? Doesn't take very long. Just think about some of the habits you might have picked up. Just having been around that kind of crowd. If you pick around people who think it's okay to pick their noses in public, you'll start doing that pretty soon. The only reason that you don't pick your nose in public is because you are around people. Your parents said, you're not supposed to do that. If you want to do that, there's the washroom. Get in there, do what you got to do, and then come out. Don't do that in public. That's the only reason you don't do that. But be around the kind of people who do that in public, and you'll soon enough start picking up that habit. If you slurp when you drink your tea, be around that kind of people, then you'll start doing that. It's just habit. It's not about whether it's right or wrong, you just pick up that habit. Be around people who are angry. You'll be someone who gets angry. Be around people who justify anger. Pretty soon you're going to justify anger, being angry. Be around people who lie all the time. Pretty soon you're going to be, I'm a liar. Think about the habits that you have picked up along the way. Some of these habits you'll be proud of. There'll be others you're ashamed of. Your temperament is the constitution of all of these habits put together. All these behaviors that you have picked up. If you surround yourself with people who are generous, you will also become someone who is generous. This is why for humans among all other creatures, it is so important who you surround yourself with. There's no other being for whom or for which this is more important than humans. Because we are so easily influenced. We are so easily influenced. If you hang around, why did your parents say, Pudha, don't hang around with those kids. It's not good for you. If your parents knew that, you had a bunch of friends at school who smoked, who took drinks, then they said, don't hang around with them. They're the bad crowd, keep away from them. But you got a puppy at home, right? The master at home, he takes alcohol. The dog at home, he sees the master taking alcohol. When was the last time the dog came and said, can I have one as well, sir? When was the last time he came and said, cheers? No, you see, they don't get influenced like that. But you do. If you take alcohol today, if you're a smoker, then this is all because of the kind of crowd you were influenced by, the people you hung around with. Why do you eat? Why do you like spicy food? Because that's the kind of people you hung around with. Why do you have a sweet tooth? That's because that's the kind of people you hang around with. See, from very simple things to big things, you are influenced by the people you hang around with. There's good in that, and there's bad in that. If you hang around the right crowd, then good for you. But equally, if you hang around the wrong crowd, if you hang around with the wrong kind of people, then that's terrible. The consequences can be dire. I have often asked you to think and reflect about the 5 people you spend most of your time with. It's not something you can just do today and then forget about it. You know what? You got to do it at least once every 3 months to realign yourself. At least once every 3 months, stop for a moment and ask yourself, who are the people I spend most of my time with? It may be that after work, it's become a habit now to go out for a drink, right, after work. Work finishes at 5, 6 o'clock, everyone's at the pub. That may have become a habit now. So if you hang around people for whom it is a habit to hit the pub after work, then that's who you're going to be pretty soon. So at least every 3 months, take a stop and take stock of who you are and ask yourself, am I proud about who I have become? This is so important. And the reason for this being so important is that you can be influenced just like that. It only takes one TV advert to influence you. So if it only takes one TV advert, and how long are TV adverts? Average, a minute, half a minute. And very rarely do you get a TV advert that's longer than a minute. It only takes one viewing of a TV advert. Last I heard, if you see a TV advert or some kind of advertisement, a commercial, that gives you some kind of idea, and you are convinced that what you have heard is true, or if you accept that, it's going to take a total of 17 times to convince you otherwise, to convince you that the opposite is true. A total of 17 times. So for example, if I've got a brand of toothpaste, and I show you that advert and I go, this is the best toothpaste that's out there. The other advertisers, other toothpaste manufacturers or advertisers will have to advertise their product at least 17 times before you are convinced that no, actually there's a better one. So this is why TV is full of adverts. This is why when you walk along the streets, there are posters all around you. Have you ever seen a wall in Sri Lanka that hasn't got posters stuck on it? One day it says, stick no bills. Next day it just says, no bills. Following day it just says, bills. The following day, where's that notice that was there on there? That's because what people want to do is to keep conveying that message to you, to influence you. Why? Because you can be influenced. In your industries, whatever profession you're in, you will have studied about these things. If you work in a job, in some kind of company, you will be taught about influencing skills. I learned influencing skills. How do you influence someone to do something that you want them to do? It was a case of make them want, and then you can step back. Not get them to do what you want, make them want. Make them want it, and then you can step back. How do you know a good salesman? How do you tell a good salesman? A good salesman makes you want it. A good salesman is not someone who comes up to you and says, hey, this is good, buy it. No, a good salesman is someone who will make you want to get down on your knees and beg for it from him or her. That's who a good salesman is. So when I learned influencing skills, this is what I learned. Get the other person to want what it is that you have to offer. And then you don't have to sell it. You've already sold it. So that being the case, folks, I can't emphasize enough why I say every 3 months at least, take stock of the people you hang around with. Because your lives are so dynamic as opposed to mine. My life doesn't change a lot, right? I'm in these 4 walls, hopefully till my death. And the kind of people I hang around with are going to be the same. Probably the 3 or 4 people that I hang around with is going to be the same forever. Until my death, until my last days. But your lives are so dynamic. Your lives change. If you change work, if you move home, if you make new friends, you got to do these things, right? All day, every day, you make new friends. You move home, you change jobs, you go abroad, change school. These are all life events which can bring a huge impact, which can make a huge impact on your direction of life, if you have not decided what your purpose in life is. This is why every 3 months I urge you, take stock and realign yourself to your purpose. Because 6 months is too late. A year is too late. Remember, you're spending something you can never get back. When time is gone, it's gone. It's not like money. It's not something you can spend and earn more of it. Once it's gone, it's gone. Take a moment now and think about the 5 people you spend most of your time with. You are the average of all of their behaviors, their habits, and their temperaments. You are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. If you're a kind person, then most of the people that you hang around with are kind people. If you find that you are angry all the time, you get angry a lot of the time, then the 5 people you spend most of your time with will generally be angry people. If you are happy most of the time, then the 5 people that you spend most of your time with are generally happy. If you are a smoker, then the 5 people you spend most of your time with are generally smokers. Is that not the case? Think about the 5 people you spend most of your time with. That could be at the workplace, it could be at home, it could be at school, it could be your friends. If it's at home, then there's very little you can do about it, because you can't pick your family, you get given a family. But the rest of it you can pick. You can pick and choose. You can pick and choose the friends you spend your time with. If you're not proud about the person you are, if you're not proud about the behaviors and the habits that you possess today, well, you can change it. The 5 people that you spend the last week with do not have to be the 5 people you spend the rest of your time with, next week with. You can change. Because you see, the 5 people you spend most of your time with will influence how you spend something that you can never get back. This is why it's important. They can influence how you spend something that you can never get back. If you want to be a rich person, who do you hang around with? The poor people? No, you hang around rich people. You walk like they walk. You talk like they talk. You go to the clubs that they go to. You hang around them to take a lesson or 2 out of their books. You watch the TV programs that they watch. You read the books that they read. If you want to be a rich person, that's what you ought to do. Because they influence you. If you're poor today and you want to be rich, find out the things that poor people do and don't do them. Find out the things that rich people do and do them. If you want to stop lying, then there's probably 1 or 2 people at least in the 5 people you spend most of your time with who you need to sever your connections with. Because there's probably 1 or 2 people there who are habitual liars. And so they have made it okay. They're justifying lying. And so you don't see what's wrong with it. This is so important on your path to Nirvana.